flying by. Let's talk about severe weather because we've got a lot of it coming up. It's not just this week. We have some tonight, more tomorrow into Friday, and actually the Storm Prediction Center has got outlooks all the way through the weekend and the beginning of next week. So it's about to get very active again. All these cities you see here, beautiful shots where it's pretty quiet for the most part, but these are all spots where we're likely to see some active weather at points over the next several days. Okay, so let's just go chronologically, right? These are going to be the biggest days this week, tomorrow and Friday. But first, we've got to get through at least a little bit of severe weather later on tonight. This is a level 1 out of 5 risk. This is going to be the most muted risk of the next several days. So we're talking eastern Kansas, maybe parts of northern Oklahoma, eastern Nebraska, western Missouri, and then southwestern Iowa is where we're going to have to watch out for some of those storms. Now, you look at today about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and you notice it's all fairly quiet around that area. If we do see a shower or two during the day or the early to mid-afternoon, that's not going to be the severe stuff. The chance for severe weather actually comes pretty late tonight, most likely after the sun goes down. You can see it's this stuff right here. Let's say that I-35 corridor between Salina, Wichita, that's where the storms will fire up during the evening, and then they move from west to east. And you notice it's not like this is some huge line of storms that's going to do a ton of damage as it moves toward the east. The storms are going to be a little bit on the spotty side. So as they form, we'll just kind of have to watch them individually. I think some large hail would probably be the biggest threat with these storms, along with some damaging wind. We could see an isolated tornado, but overall, the tornado risk doesn't look too bad. Now, here we are tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., so not too far from this time. And those storms that you see there, not expecting those to still be severe at that point. As they get deeper into Missouri, closer to St. Louis, I think a better chance of severe weather in Kansas City from this round than St. Louis overall. All right, I said we were going chronologically, so here's tomorrow's severe weather threat. And this is, once again, going to mainly be through the evening and parts of the overnight. Okay, so we'll zoom out the map a little bit here so you can see exactly how this is going to pan out. Here was that leftover stuff I talked about that'll be around tomorrow morning. That will likely be sub-severe, not quite strong enough to be severe, maybe some 40-mile-per-hour gusts, etc. You know, we get into the afternoon, and you notice there will be some clouds around, but there's going to be some breaks in the clouds, too. And keep in mind, the area that we're highlighting for tomorrow night's severe weather is right in there. So I'm going to leave the circle on the map and watch how this pans out as we get deeper into the evening. So once again, you notice the time here, it's kind of later on, evening through the overnight. Fox models a little bit more bullish on the northern side of those storms, but as we get deeper into the night, they'll fill in a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see where this batch of rain ends up, that batch of thunderstorms that could have some damaging wind in it. Fox model has this around Milwaukee. There are some other models that are showing it down a little bit closer to Chicago. Again, the highest severe threat is going to be when these storms initially develop, and that's going to be during the evening in eastern Nebraska over into parts of western Iowa. So that Missouri River, that Missouri River area, I think that's where we're going to have the highest chance. And then Friday, here we go again, another chance for severe storms. Really what's going to happen here is we're going to get a stalled out front. It's not going to be quite as stalled out as the one that we had about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when we had the crazy amount of rain. Remember, that was stalled out kind of in this general region. This one's going to do a little bit of that stalling, meaning we will see a lot of rain over several days, but it's going to be nowhere near the amount of rain that we saw from the last system. You can see where those storms are there on Friday, and into Saturday it's going to be a similar area. Okay, so again, we'll stick with the theme here, going in chronological order. Little Rock, Arkansas, and Dallas, these are spots that are going to start to come into the picture once we get into Friday and Saturday. I mentioned the Storm Prediction Center has outlooks for not only tomorrow and Friday, also Saturday, Sunday, and actually into Monday as well. We'll cover in detail through Sunday because once you get beyond that, 4 or 5 days out, the forecast starts to become a little bit muddy. So again, I was showing you the Thursday, Friday threat. Here is the Saturday and Sunday threat. Now, you notice on Friday and Saturday, it's a little bit more of an elongated severe weather threat. So there's going to be a large part of the country that's going to be dealing with these storms. And then Sunday, it's kind of a new wave of energy here for that lower Mississippi River Valley. Here's the overall setup, and there is a lot of stuff on this map. I know it looks a little bit confusing, but this is the real thing to pay attention to, this big trough in the west. As this swings in, anytime you get a big trough in the upper levels of the atmosphere, that will swing on in, especially when it takes this negative tilt, right? So a positive tilt would be the trough would look something like this, right? But this is a negative tilt, and this kicks a little bit more energy into the air. And, you know, we don't need to get into the math behind this, all the meteorology, but at the end of the day, you know, the cliff notes are that on the east and southeast side of the trough, the air tends to rise the most. And the difference with this setup, as compared to the last couple storm systems we had come through, is that now the door's going to be open for all this moisture to come in from the Gulf of America. So this is that time of year, guys. Anytime you get a storm coming across the Rockies out into the Midwest and the plains, there's going to be some kind of severe weather threat almost always. I mean, unless you've got some kind of area of high pressure set up here that's kicking in the wind out of the north, which we have had at times over the last few days. But this is a more typical thing to see this time of year. There's Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon. We'll have the chance for severe storms pretty much throughout the entire day. I think we'll have some leftover stuff from Saturday going on. So here is Saturday's severe weather threat. You notice the Ohio River Valley here. We're starting to get into the Mississippi Valley as well, but it goes all the way down to the border with Mexico. I mean, you're talking through Dallas, Fort Worth, San Angelo, San Antonio, et cetera, and then all the way up to Pittsburgh. So it's like Great Lakes all the way into the southern plains. Very interesting setup overall. So again, there's Saturday, and then Sunday, kind of a similar type of deal. It's going to sag a little bit farther toward the south. It's basically the same boundary that will fire up more storms, and we get into Sunday afternoon and Monday, and things will go a little bit farther toward the south. So we'll keep you updated as far as all that goes. Right now, it looks like mostly damaging wind and some hail in those storms. A few tornadoes will be possible too.